Hello guys, Reed here. Let me get my intro music going. Reed Matrix here. So this is going to be a very interesting discussion. It's about narcissism as a network. So remember, my name is Dr. Reed, and this series is called, my podcast is called Reed Matrix. And Matrix is to help you understand all of the matrix structures around you. I'm trying to help you understand all of the networks around you. All of these networks and all of the structures that contain you are hidden, but they are permanent, almost permanent structures. They're individual is individual. No, is invisible. They're invisible. You can't see them. And when you become trapped within these structures, they can take your life. So it's very understand how networks and structures that you're in, they operate. To try to help you understand what I'm talking about, your class is an invisible structure. No matter how hard you try, you will not make it to the upper class if you're poor, right? And the reason why is because you're contained within a glass compartment, right? Yeah, you can try to get to where the people with the money are at or try to do things what they're doing, but your money's not that long, right? It's not going to make it that far. You're going to run out of gas before you have to go back to your class. If you're poor, right? And that's a justice system for the poor. If you're rich, it's a justice system for the rich. So inside my series, so that's what Matrix is for. Inside my series, I talk about how narcissism is a network. If you are dealing with one of these sick ass, disgusting, petulant, stinking, perverted narcissists, you have to understand that you're dealing with someone who was unalived. And because they were unalived, they do not have the capacity to engage with you as if they were human. You got me? So if a person you're dealing with doesn't have empathy, then that means they have no way of interpreting anything outside of their ego. And you're outside of their ego. Your reality is outside of their ego. So that's why they're never going to be able to look at things from your perspective. I mean, never, not ever, not one time. If you force them to, they start acting like they uncomfortable in your reality and I gotta get out of that. Something wrong with you. These people are sick. And I think if you understand the degree at which they're sick, then I think you'll respect them. You respect them. Now let me see here. So this podcast is on, eyes have never seen, nor ears have ever heard of if this is true. Now, okay, I don't want to blame they're battling this 5D warfare is nuts. So I suggest that you don't join the side. Just sit back and watch them look at the differences between these two and watch how persuasive it is. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, but look at the color, right? Don't drink the Kool-Aid, meaning don't eat the apple, but just look at what they have to say, Israel and Erika have to say versus reality. And the few people who are trying to make sure that everyone has access to reality. Reality is what actually happened, not what they are forcing upon us. Yeah, the difference is, guys, at this point, you're starting to see that we have overlords. And I believe you're the peasant, right? And I don't know. I think if they can get away with killing children on mass scales in Gaza, right? And supporting a global cabal of psychopathic pedophiles, if we choose them over the children, and or they just performed a public execution for everybody to watch, and they're trying to make us believe that they didn't do exactly what we saw them do. Man, if you believe in this shit, you're gonna be fucked up. I mean, I don't think anything in your life is going to work. And it's amazing to see to this degree at which they're trying to peddle bullshit into your ears, right? Look at my podcast on fake knowledge and how fake knowledge is detrimental to you. It'll destroy. If you accept fake knowledge, then basically you upload a virtual reality that doesn't exist and it's not real, and nothing you can do in that reality is going to give you long prophecies. Fall in love to a woman who only wants you for your money, and see how what happens. Nothing ever going to work out. She gonna get the money. Why? You're not gonna leave. You're gonna leave without money. Why? Because that was the purpose of getting a relationship, for money. It wasn't for love, right? So Erika, I mean, if she did, then she was a part of a public execution of her own man. Oh, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard a narc on this level before. Narcs are evolving. Normally, you would do this interpersonal, you destroy a personal interpersonally at a level where, a local level, you do your damage locally. And you want to do, the narcs do your damage at work or at home or at this, but she seemed to have scaled hers where she performed public execution of her man, where her children can see it, where everybody can see it, and then go ahead and execute the plan as if the other opinions are not valid at all. Just ignore them and say, you guys are bad guys, but we keep going. She reminds me of something here. I did a podcast here. Let me show you this podcast here I did. And this is Dracula right here. Okay, here, let me see. Let me see here. No, I'm not leaving. Now, I'm talking about Dracula was the 1800th representation of the narcissist. It's like a narcissist, right? So that's what Dracula was. It's the embodiment of the narcissist. And here, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, here, the psychiatrist, Dr. Van Housen, is the one that recognized Dracula the Narc and confronts Dracula the Narc over Dracula putting the woman under a spell. And here is interesting. This conversation is what we're having with Erika right now. And this is a conversation you have with every narc if you have to confront them. They always act as if the reality you're in is a delusion. That's why when you set those boundaries and stick to your reality, they have to always go behind your back and tell everybody you're fucking crazy. Right? They have to go behind your back and make everybody believe that you're crazy in your reality, because they do not want anyone else joining you in your reality. And that's how they shut down the growth of your reality, because they discourage and target anyone else who believes like you. These people are sick. I mean, these people are perverted. They are sick. And they go through all of that effort just to control you in the environment. But that's like a localized narcissistic tendency. But Erika has scaled on a national level. Instead of influencing the people in the local clique or around the work or the nurse's station, instead of influencing that, she's going to influence an entire nation. And that's an upgrading of the narcissist skills. This is amazing to watch. I didn't think they can evolve that quickly, but it seems that they have. Let's see. In fact, I'm staying here. And in fact, what I'm going to do is let everybody know what you narcs are doing. Time's up. Time's up. Let me check this out. Now that's me.
Right. My blood now flows through her veins.
My blood flows through her veins. I have her under her spell. She's in my reality. Now, this is what Erika is saying when she comes on that stage, and this is what she's saying to Candace, that they are in my reality, right? Right. She's so Erika is creating a reality for us. Remember, look at the video I did on the manifold reality. And the nature of how Erika talk is a manifold nature, meaning she provides an exquisite number of details in her description of what's going on that make you believe. It fills out a whole virtual world. It creates a whole virtual world when you listen to her content, and she's doing that on purpose to manipulate you into her reality so you see things her way and you start to abandon all your higher reasoning skills. You got me? And that's a manipulative form of engaging with someone, because you're trying to persuade them or manipulate them as opposed to allowing them to come to their motherfucking decision themselves. That's the most manipulative way. And when you pick these idiots up, when you can listen to these idiots and you hear this in real time, the first thing you have to say, hey, listen, bro, stop. Don't bring this way. We're not doing this, man. Take that dumbass shit and move it over there. You have to understand when these narcs come to you and learn how to pick that content up when they're trying to create a delusional world for you to go into. And remember, delusional worlds, delusional systems are not reality. And if you engage with them, you engage with them at your own peril. You're going to have to accept that every investment you make in a delusional system will always end up in zero. So at least you know what the outcome is going to be before you go into it, right? You understand that she really don't love you. And when you try to chase after her, you can expect to lose everything. You are only delusional if she leaves after the fact. And when you lose everything, you figure out what the fuck happened. And you look like, what happened? Man, what happened? You lived in a delusional world. She never wanted you. She wanted the things you had. Right? So if you are in anybody else's reality, meaning if you look at things from anybody else's perspective, meaning if you follow anyone else's instinct of yours, you might as well mark everything up as zero, save the score. And then you can't complain about it for anybody else too, right? It's your delusional world. And everybody just looking at you jerking off in somebody else's delusional world. And you can't come out thinking you're going to make a profit. Doesn't happen here. So look here, Dr. Van Helsing is confronting Dracula, because Dracula is popping out these delusions for everybody, and everybody's going to accept the delusions as if it's going to be personally beneficial to them, and then it's going to force them to be reactionary. Look at my video on the manifold world, because when they present this manifold lie to you, it's the truth blittered with a lot of details that's designed to trigger the attachments in the listener. And after they pull on the attachments in a listener, then attachment feels like there's a threat. They feel that this person is the solution. And after they feel the person is the solution, they feel that the new information makes them feel more relaxed and more calm. Right? But it's fake. And then they react to it. So this is that TPUSA is a large brainwashing system whereby it's going to encourage these young children and young people to view things through Israel's perspective, and then go out and start propagating this message on behalf of Israel, but covered in the cloak of Christianity. What the fuck? Is this, what? What? They doing this now in 5D warfare? What? So look at Dracula. Let me see Dracula. She's in my reality. She has regressed to her lower self, and she appears in my reality, and I've destroyed all of her exits. I've destroyed her family's relationship with her. I destroyed her friends' relationship with her. I destroyed her capacity to work. I destroyed her reputation. There's no place else for her to go. And this is the whole point of 5D warfare, is programming the ego So Israel has become very innovative because it has a mechanism now to move past all parental insight and give Bibi Netanyahu direct access to programming your child's ego. Let's get it in. Jesus. Man. Remember that saying, had your children, had your wife, had your children, had your husband. Why? Because they raping everybody up in here. Remember that song? We had your children, had your wife, go had your husband. Why? I mean, BB is coming for what? Everybody? And then once the pastors continue to ignore what's happening, then the same thing is going to happen to you. I mean, this is straight up tyranny. I mean, you don't stand up for what really happened to Charlie. Then when they do it to you, nobody's going to stand up for you. That's how this works. You don't get a chance to escape this. There's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide, right? You either going to bow down or you're going to stand up. You're going to bow down. You're going to bow down. You're going to genuflex. Listen, let me move on. I'll talk about you later. But this is Dracula and his response. Right? And then she appears in my life as her lower self. And if she tries to leave across boundaries, now I have the ability to use my unlimited superpowers to target her. Why? Meaning, if you were to leave TPUSA, you're going to have to abandon all your friends, right? It's like you either for us or against us like mentality, right? She's in my world. And that's what he's saying to her. But look at Dr. Van Housen's reply.
She will live through the centuries to come, as I have lived. Should you escape us, Dracula, we know how to save Miss Mina's soul, if not her life. If she dies by day, but I shall see that she dies by night, and I...
Right. So in this case, Candace Owens is Dr. Van Housen and Dracula is Erika, right? And then they're fighting over the reality, right? Okay, Erika, are you the killer? Or are you the widow? But are you the killer? Or are you not the killer? It really comes down to that. It really comes down to that. And listen to her replies are similar in structure, the same way Dracula replies to his responses, because it seems like Erika sends out her threats to and say to you should stop, you shouldn't accuse me, you shouldn't doing this. And it seems, which is Dracula's response, and it seems like Dr. Van Housen, which is Candace Owens, saying, no matter what, I'm still going to get you. I'm going to overturn every stone I need to do because I don't know. But I do know I know. They get that. I haven't, that's another thing with these sick narcs is that they understand that you have to have irrefutable evidence that's non-ambiguous. Is it, how hard it is to find evidence that's non-ambiguous to present in front of a narc to prove to them without a doubt that they are running a scam on you or fucking with you or targeting you? It's very hard to find that type of evidence, but they demand that you have that type of evidence. So you end up saying in these disputes, no matter what, I'm still getting you, boy. We ain't finished with this. I got big like I'm coming back. And I'm clapping back. I don't know what I know, but I know you did it. I don't have the evidence, but I know who did it. It always comes down there to these sick people. They are absolutely sick.
Their carpets have been torn down stone by stone, excavated a mile around. And you find your earth box. and drive that state up.
Yep. So baby, he said, no matter what, I'm not stopping. I'm coming after you. I think that's the same thing Candace Owens is saying in this situation. So it's very interesting. Even to watch. I suggest you not drink the Kool-Aid. I suggest you not get in the movie. I suggest you just watch. Right, and then just watch the two back and forth, and it kind of have this same dynamics to it. So let me see. Okay, so let me see here. So I think you got that point here. Now let me just recap here. This is Candace. This is Candace Owens' presentation when she entered TPUSA. Right, and look at just a dangerous. Just I don't know. That is just dangerous. It's over the top. It's too much. And everything. I mean, she's definitely selling. She's definitely selling herself.
This is Jody Reed, and they said this is Erika Kirk walking out to mourn.
Oh yeah, it's like WWE, right? Yeah, it's like. Yeah, this is the president. This is how they come out grandiose and thunderous, right? And looking good. I mean, all glitter. The lady was just looking good, classy, looking good, all
Probably
glitter.
get copyright stricken, but maybe you'll see it within the first hour. And someone else added WWE music to Erika Kirk's walkout, which honestly feels a little more fitting.
Let me tell you. They spend a lot of money on his production. Look at this. And look how dangerous this is. Can you imagine how many women wearing hairspray and stuff like that? Hair brown? This is too much. Okay, so you saw that one. So that's how the narcissists arise on a scene. And this sort of reminiscence, to me, this is sort of reminiscence of the same thing that Puffy did right after, he sort of orchestrated the death of Biggie and stuff like that. Came out the same thing, all up in the video, all on top and everything. And basically, this was Biggie's hit that he was on, that he made it himself. So Erika's exhibiting that same type of profile. And then you see other situations where she's really disrespectful to people, but it blurts out and things like that. Now, here at the same TPU, Fest, TPUSA Fest, she brings out a rap icon, right? And then Nicki Minaj is known for the smut peddling, basically. Her music it's not inspirational music. I mean, it's unfortunately, the music industry has these clones like Diddy and like all of these other black images that are on the Israeli payroll. So when they need them to start shaping black votes and black opinions, then now all of a sudden they come out front shaping and becoming the representative for everybody and shaping opinion for everyone, and this is a very dangerous turn because it's these sellouts, it's these idiots like this, like Nicki Minaj and Puff Daddy and things like that, who takes these huge checks from basically that originate from Israel, and they're used to propagate these messages that destroy and control the egos of millions of poor black people. I mean, there is nothing of value that I haven't seen anything of value that Nicki Minaj ever done. And then just using her body for images doesn't make her a spokesperson. The shape of her buttocks doesn't make her qualify as a spokesperson, but I'm sure she's getting paid very hefty for this because these type of NPC narcissistic drones are all in it together. And she would send those messages that normalize degrading black women, but she would never be able to do that to an Israeli woman. Never. They wouldn't even allow her over there. But now they're embracing her as a representative of Black women and the Black culture. And so you can see how now TPUSA and his whole message can sort of come into the strong Black woman movement. And oh man, when it hits that population, it's going to be disruptive and destructive. Why? Because it's not based upon reality. Why? It's based upon a 5D PSYOP campaign that's primarily orchestrated and funded and created by Israel to what? Hide the public execution of someone who disagreed with them. So, hey, Felipe, let me call you back, buddy. I'm on my podcast. All right. Check my podcast, man. Come on, watch. You should be watching my podcast anyway, man. It's up. It's at the same time every day, man. Come on. I'm live. Come on, Felipe. That's my buddy, Felipe. Okay. Okay, yeah. And so let's just see what she has to say, you know. But it's interesting. You can see all of these people who are under their control inside this narcissistic network. They're going to fight death to the end. And then the same messages are going to follow down to their music, because Nicki Minaj will never be able to say anything that will put suspicion or challenge Israel at all. But she can say, and they will fund her and her crappy music to present herself in the most disgusting and vile way possible. There are certain nasty things that only they allow Black women to do on media and video. But there's no other type of women who will be on video doing these type of things. And it becomes a part of the entire culture. It's what the young Black girls begin to look at. And this is awful, because once the young Black girl begin to perceive herself in the like of Nicki Minaj, that is not reality. That is a fictitious, delusional character made up primarily by Israel, I think, at this point. And if you shape your life according to this model, then you're going to get the same outcomes, because nothing that she does is based upon reality. Nothing she does is sustainable. She's always going to have an external source sustaining her, because none of the dumb shit that she does can make a profit for long. Why? Because she has to live in that delusional world. So someone else is going to always have to profit it, have to power it going on. Does that make sense? Yeah, let's just see what she has to say, which is nothing.
Not win. Enjoy life. Peace.
You had some fun words for Governor Newsom.
Now, California is a very important state for Democrats, because California is talking about adding more seats and things like that. And Newsom may be the next Democratic president. So not only are they starting a campaign, a Republican campaign amongst teenage and young groups, but they're getting all of the stars in that generation to sort of target Gavin Newsom. So you can see now how Turning Point is also simultaneously being used as a weapon to target their political targets. And how does I'm not sure what all this have to do with Turning Point USA or Charlie Kirk.
I have to read these tweets because they're amazing.
Because if Nicki Minaj sway the African-American female vote, that's going to be a large voting block that's going to be split.
And they're so funny. Okay, first one.
So these are her texts to Gavin Newsom, something like that.
We'll do this one. Unless you want to read it in your own voice. I think it'd be really great. Okay.
Oh, Gavy Poo, it only gets worse from here for you, buddy. It's the end of the road for you, my love. Get on the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind. It'll make you happier than this race that you will not win. Enjoy life. Peace.
Okay. One more. Why
not? Imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Haha, not even a trans adult would run on that. Normal adults wake up and think they want to see healthy, safe, happy kids. Not Gav. The Gav nots. Gav not in. Gav out. Send in the next guy. I'm bored.
So I'm just gonna let you riff. Like, I want you to say whatever you want to say,
Well,
Mr. Newsom.
Dear Newscom.
See, and here's another disgusting thing is that they always get African-American women to do their dirty work. So you want to start publicly insulting people as opposed to talking about their policies or things like that. So so she's just here to berate and devalue him. Right. But she doesn't talk about I don't think she talked about the policies at all. And so you see these narcissists are never alone. They're always a part of the network, and they always have these flying monkeys or people in their clique that they use to target you. And the characteristic of the flying monkey is that they're ravenous. The flying monkey is ravenous. I mean, they do everything they can to come after you, boy. The flying monkey is on a mission like you did something to them personally, and you don't even know who the fuck they are. That's the characteristics here. So I see the savageness. They brought in, the savage in here. So you see Israel paying so it's interesting. I'm going to see about doing a podcast of looking at all the comments of like all the black people who are in show business and see what see how many on a Israeli payroll. So let's go ahead and see this.
We don't have a problem cleaning up the scum if we have to. Please tread lightly. That's what I would say to Gabby Poo.
And so look, she issued a threat to him, right? And that's, I don't see anyone who's, and then now she's able to express that degree of violence and disparaging rhetoric towards him. And Erika, while she's doing this, she gets a sort of relief from the emotional tension that she's experiencing. So here's another thing. See, not the when you draw boundaries, or when narcs can't find you, that's when they have to start spreading rumors about you, because they can't get in touch with you directly to give you the bullshit directly from them that would cause the emotional psychological abuse. But they start to create rumors for you, so it echoes throughout whatever crowd, and by ricochet still get back to you and still create the same degree of emotional psychological distress. Right? So when you're drawing boundaries with narcissists, they're going to target you by going to everyone around you and start targeting you and everything, because they still want to deliver that harm to you. Right? Now, and that's when they're most angry, when they cannot harm you, or when you're in a position and you pick up the anger by the rumors they spread from you. So that's what I'm saying. If a narc is spreading the rumors about you, that means you have good boundaries. Now, however, when they got you stuck, when you caught, when they've ensnared you, when they've lied on you, when you are in a situation where you're under stress, pressure, tension, you may lose you're stressful about your job or your evaluation, reputation, you look at them and they haven't been calmer. They look fine, they calm. They calm as hell. When they see you under the most distress, you look at them and they be the most calm as hell. And then that's when the cops come. When the cops come, or when the psychiatrists walk in the room, or when the therapists come, then that's how they see you in a state. You're in a state agitated, restless, and irritable, overwhelmed, and they're calm and relaxed and just say he's like this all the time. She's like this all the time. And what does the narcs always have to say when you got that boundaries? He's crazy. You know, he does this all the time. He's crazy. She's crazy. Man, I got this sick-ass 50-year-old black narc. This nigga is always talking about Reed. He wants to be me. This nigga talks about me constantly, pathologically, around people I don't know. He talks to absolutely everybody. And the thing about the quality to this nigga's speech is he talks as if we're communicating. So yeah, me and Dr. Reed was my friend, and this is Dr. Reed, as if I have some communications with this nigga. And from that, he's able to continue this shit for years, right? And I remember I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I was going through the stress and shit trying to figure this out. And every time I saw this nigga, he's always calm and relaxed. And I noticed that pattern with all these narcs. They calm and relax. So look at this reaction. Look at while Nikki is being the black guard dog for Israel. So she gonna go down there and cut the man off at the knees and do the dirty work. So the real narc can sit back. Let me show you how this works, guys.
So with regard to,
so now she is setting it up. She even got here. Now with regard to, she's setting it up. And now look, she's all propped up, ready to spring. Give me swatch.
Current administration, what has been maybe the biggest surprise for you, or something that you just really has been put on your heart that you've learned about our president and our vice president?
Well, I have.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed the Newsom question. Let me go back. When she's doing her dirty, that's what she's, oh, my angel. You doing my, oh, my angel.
So those of you who know, Charlie was very good about having a surprise for every AmFest.
A surprise for
and they're so funny. Okay.
Why not?
I'm trying to
not
find.
Gav. The Gav nuts. Gav. We don't have a problem clean.
Okay, here it is right here. Okay.
Dear Newscom.
Okay, yeah, so this threat, this is a stage threat that TPUSA is basically threatening is pointing towards Newsom. And it's definitely staged, but watch Erika's response when she's humiliating him. They basically, the guard dogs doing the work, and that's when these narcissists are most comfortable.
So I'm just gonna let you riff. Like, I want you to say whatever you want to say.
That's the setup, meaning I don't have anything to do with this. That's the setup. You can say whatever you want to say. That is, now I'm going to distance myself from your comments and watch her.
Well, Mr. Newsom.
Dear Newscom. We don't have a problem cleaning up the scum if we have to. Please tread lightly. That's what I would say to Gabby.
She's actually feeding her. I didn't see that. She's actually feeding her. Look at her shaking her head. She's acting, look at her. They're feeding back before. She's feeding her. She's staging her through the lines to make sure she says it correctly.
We don't have a problem cleaning up the scum if we have to.
You see she's shaking her head?
Please tread lightly. That's what I would say to Gabby Poo.
So with regard to the current administration, what has been maybe the biggest surprise for you, or something that you just really has been put on your heart that you've learned about our president and our vice president?
So I think this is the point where Israel attempts to target Black women with 5D warfare, because remember, in the United States, we Black people went through slavery. And so for hundreds of years, Black women did not have any legal rights to their bodies. And so for hundreds of years in this country, my ancestors had to deal with sexual assault and sexual violence without any legal representation or legal recourse. And that violence arguably continues up to this day. It's that interpersonal violence, particularly sexual violence, that makes African American women more prone to have single parent houses as opposed to partnering, because they're susceptible to ongoing violence within the family. And so that's the historical legacy of Black women in this country. And when you see Israel genociding women and children, and Black women not step up, that's something else, because historically you would have think that Black women would have been the first group of females that would not tolerate genocide against children and other women. But where is the representation amongst the Black women? Do you mean to tell me that this drill rapper, the booty clapper, becomes the spokesperson for Black women, and her opinions about Trump and Vance becomes the way she frames this? I don't know how she's going to frame it, but the way she frames it, Mason, is what Israel wants to project to Black women, as opposed to saying genocide is intolerable. Targeting women in war is intolerable. And so now Nicki Minaj and this slew of Black entertainers are all going to get hefty checks to project this 5D warfare directly into the minds of young Black girls. And what that means is that when they continue to kill you, no one's going to come to your defense. And I'm not sure who's more of a victim of violence than Black women. So, and their type of violence is unique, because the men suffer death. So with the men, their suffering has a limit to it. But there seems to be a characteristic of Black women suffering where the torture goes on for 30, 40 years. And they experience these circumstances where they're forced to live their lives, where the pain and the suffering is inescapable. And now, as a whole, they will have to make a decision as a group amongst themselves whether or not they're going to turn their eye away from what these people are actually doing, and that is a genocide and systematically killing children and women. And they're going to side with these people. Woo, this is 5D warfare. This is BB coming for your children's ear through Nikki's ass, right? She clapped the booty. That's all she did. And now she's the representative for BB? Come on. This is scary, y'all. Let me see what she's going to say about El Presidente.
Well, I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president.
Now, let me just tell you one of the things that I think she's doing that's absolutely disgusting, right? She's a phony, right? She's a sex worker, right? Her music wasn't uplifting. It was something you jerk off on. But then she presents herself as an archetypical figure. She presents herself as the restorative force within Black women. She presents herself as the strong Black woman, the woman who's supposed to pull everyone through the hard times, right? She's presented as if she's her, but she's not her. She's the booty clapping sex worker pornographic music peddling to your children. So now she speaks as if she's the architect. She speaks as if she's like who? Harriet Tubman. I think that all of these ignorant niggas are clowns. I think that they are clowns. And for her to misrepresent herself to so many young children who don't know the difference between Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, and Nicki Minaj, and the other, and Cardi B. I mean, if you don't know the difference between Harriet Truman and what you call it, which they don't, but what? See, the phonies are saying the message as the truth. If she was going to stay true to her role, she should bend over and start clapping her booty at the audience, because that's what she was doing for a career. I've never listened to her music, but never once did I ever see her represent the restorative force of mother blackness, or I never seen her take on that mantle. But it seems like they're giving her this stage to do this performance, this fake performance. And it's going to devastate a lot of young black girls because they're going to fall for this shit.
He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope.
I don't know if Trump understands this. You see the degree of idealization. So remember, this is a talk amongst two narcissists, right? Now remember, narcissists can only talk about themselves. So when they talk about themselves, they have a fluent speech, and they can give you a really good engagement of what's happening in their world, because that's how they get you to engage. But when you ask them to shift out of their world into somebody else's world or somebody else's experience, they cannot do that well. And it's very important that you understand this, right? They can't do this well. When they shift, they have to choose a character. So they engage with you with a role. That's why the behavior appears to be characterological. You can see them playing a fucking script. And the scripts are limited that the narc can play. The narc can play the grandiose decision maker, right? The one who's in control, the sexualized video vixen, right? All of these things, but they always come in extreme. So we're in this conversation here, Nikki only talk about her, right? Now she has to talk about Trump, and they describe him in an idealized manner. The guy is so great, I don't think he understands how great he is. The fuck? So I have to tell him that he's having this effect on other people. You got me? You got me? Nobody talks like, have you ever had anyone have a conversation with you like that and somebody ever says something like that? No, they don't. This is the manifold nature in which these sociopaths lie to you in your face, and you better pick it up, because if you believe this dumbass shit and go into that world, they're going to take everything you have, right? This is designed to bankrupt everybody and give them control. You're going to become bankrupt because you can never make profits in a delusion. You're going to give them control because you're going to vote them in power. So fucking with them at all is going to put you in a really bad situation. And then if you do anything that they don't agree with you out of the club, meaning that Nikki can never talk about dead babies. She can't do that. She can't talk about dead babies. All she can do is go back and clap her booty. That's it.
That there's a chance to beat the bad guys.
And then devaluing your opponent. See, this is what the narcissist does behind your back. See, in this case, The narcissist is Erika, and she's using the flying monkey, which is a black woman, to really cut Gary Newsom, whatever his name, Newsom, cut him at the shreds. Right?
And to win, and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact. He's from Queens, New York, like me.
And you see, she described her now the child like he's that female like with me. So remember what I said, that if she talk about herself is confidence. So now she got to talk about it. Then she talk about being his world where they live in close proximity, and now she goes back to the childlike voice.
So, but
and I bet you when she get back to her world, she switch back to normal. You see what I'm saying?
What it's shown me personally is.
So now she's about to talk herself. Now she's talking. She's competent in the communications, right? Y'all get that?
Sometimes, even in the worst feeling times in your life, you think that you're never going to come back from it, but you do. And our president shows that. He's been through every single thing a person could be through publicly, having to constantly.
So they've turned this into a political rally. I mean, these people, they're combining their Charlie. So you mean to tell me this? I mean, if they executed this guy in public so they can get the best voting scenario to move millions of young voters to the poll, and his wife was in on it. Whoa, Erika, I'm saying never. Eyes have not seen or ears have not heard a narc on this level before. I mean, I'm telling you guys, listen, don't hate the player, hate the game. Man, you see the player, the game comes with the player. So you got to run from the player. You got to hide from the player. I mean, it's getting serious out here. This 5D warfare, man. Hold on one second. And then I think Erika's ex-boyfriend is now running the show. The ex-boyfriend is now running the show. I don't know. Let me check this out.
Bottle girl, and not drink. But these are, lies, especially if you're going on CBS News, that a lot of people are going to start to question. I know a lot of you love the I've Had It podcast, and they had some words recently about Erika Kirk. I want you to take a listen.
Now, these two ladies have a very interesting opinion. It's a very sophisticated opinion, but let me just describe what they're saying. I think they're saying that this was a public assassination, that they're trying to make us believe that they weren't involved. That's the reality. Okay. And that should be investigated as it is, and there should be come to justice for what it was. And if we were to give Charlie Kirk justice, then that means that we would be, by default, protecting all women. So it's very imperative that Erika Kirk want true justice, because we have to get true justice, because that's the only way to ensure protection for all women, right? That's the underlining reality here that everybody shares, right? That we cannot excuse or condone public executions, because when that starts happening, that means no one is safe, particularly women, from the violence of men. So for her to campaign in a fake world would basically be distracting from that message, and she therefore would be doing a great disservice for all women to even try some dumbass shit like this. Does you make sense what I'm saying? For her to try to cover up her own husband's assassination means that she's going to make a system that's weaker for all women who come after her. She is when I say that eyes have not seen or ears have not heard anyone in narc like Erika Kirk before, because the level at which she's playing a game, I never thought was possible. but apparently it is. Let me get their take on this. I hope this is what they're saying, but listen to this. It's very interesting. And this is something that a narc will never comprehend, because this understanding is completely outside of their ego. So they wouldn't understand that a reason, that a very simple explanation can explain all of this complex behavior. And I think that's what it is. Her narcissism fundamentally threatens the stability and survivability of all women in our culture. Why? Because she's successfully performed a public execution, getting away with it, making profits, moving political advances, and preventing the system from reaching true justice. And so if we don't have a justice system, then you do not have protection for women. And so I think that's why the scale at which she's harmful is huge. And let me just see what they have to say here.
Or attack on substituting a relationship for a man with a substitution for the government is overtly an attack on poor.
See, substituting a relationship with a man, meaning has she stayed in her relationship with her husband and built his organization, then she substituted that with agreeing to his execution and then flipping on a reliance with the government. And that's what he's talking about. Let me put her on.
And the connotations in that, considering she's abundantly aware of when you talk about women. Donald Trump, and just like her unrepentant, racist, homophobic husband was.
Wow, it's very strong words there from the I've Had It pod.
Yeah, they're getting it in. So I mean, this brings up some very interesting conversations. Here now. Here's another scenario. The dude Mikey McCoy. Mikey McCoy was his assistant chief of staff that was right there when he was assassinated, when he got shot. And so apparently, Mikey was standing like this, watching and everything. But the thing is that Mikey was on the phone. So during the time at the assassination, Mikey is standing there, and when the shot rings out, when he's hit, Mikey doesn't stutter. He doesn't jump. Mikey gets on the phone and start heading out, right? And didn't check on his boy at all. So here's the thing, follow up with Mikey, and Mikey was his chief of staff. Remember, when I say narcissism is a network, is that you're not dealing with one narcissist. The narcissist, you're dealing with a crowd of them, a group of them. And the thing is that they get as close to you as possible, because their mantra is have your friends close, but your enemies closer. I mean, these people are awful. And so let's go ahead and watch this with Mikey.
Changes everything. Before we dive deep, you need to know who we're talking about here. Mikey McCoy is Charlie Kirk's chief of staff at Turning Point USA. He was 23 years old when Charlie got shot. And get this, he was standing right next to Charlie when it happened. Now, I'm not going to tell what happened to Charlie, as 90% of the people already know what happened. So let's start with Mikey's reaction. There's footage that went viral showing what Mikey did the moment. So here's Charlie here. Here's Mikey right here. Look, Mikey's on the phone. The phone call is active. got shot. And I'm telling you, it's not what you'd expect. Instead of running to help his friend, instead of ducking for cover like everyone else, Mikey calmly walked away with his phone to his ear.
I'm going to zoom in on that here in a second. And then you can see him walking out on his phone behind the tent. Charlie is getting loaded into the van, and Mikey is seen over here.
Yeah, so here's Mikey right there. So at the time they're loading the van, Mikey's still on the phone.
Back turned on the phone. This is weird.
Your wallet sucks. That's why we invent.
Yeah, and so Mikey continued the phone call.
Zooming in closer, Mikey's reaction right when Charlie was shot.
Yeah, and so watch that right there. Watch Mikey. So this is Mikey right here. He's the white shirt. This the front of his backpack. That's the other side of his backpack. That's his right arm. His arms are folded here, right? He's folded here. And then after he's shot, he's going to get right on the phone.
Right? But even weirder is this. Zooming in closer, Mikey's reaction.
There it is right there.
Right when Charlie was shot.
So he just got on the phone and turned around, right?
Look, he pulls his phone out to his ear without even pressing any buttons. Watch closely. Arms folded, phone right to his ear.
Take a look at that. Everyone around him is panicking. People are screaming. People are running. And Mikey, he just turns around and walks away, slowly, like he knew exactly what was about to happen. Now, I'm not saying he did, but that's what it looks like. And that's why people started digging. And here's something else that got people's attention. After the shooting, everyone at Turning Point USA started calling Mikey a hero. Not just once. Every single time they mentioned his name, there was an adjective attached to it. The amazing Mikey McCoy, the brilliant Mikey McCoy, the heroic Mikey McCoy. Even Candace Owens pointed this out. She asked a simple question. Why does only Mikey need an adjective before his name?
So again, narcissism is a network. And so these people around him, his chief of staff, his wife, her favorite, his chief of staff, this idea that, and so that's what I was saying is that if you're having any psychological, emotional distress, that you're having difficulty doing your work or getting a job, you have to really check the people around you. The people around you are sick. Now, I think I'm going to finish up here. Now, this gentleman here is a witness. Apparently, Erika Kirk was at the Air Force base earlier that day. And at the airport, this witness says that she was there with a congressman. Now, he's able to verify his location because he got arrested on the base. Check this out. The person who arrested him, they said, is the other person who's running his podcast. Now, I'll show you the one who's running his podcast. Let me see, Charlie Kirk. Okay, let me see Charlie Kirk show. Let me see this dude right here. So this dude right here. Okay.
Patriot Bubble stands for fake.
This is getting all twisted now. I think they start changing they remove the faces. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, videos. Okay, yeah. So now this guy here, I bet you won't be able to find him. So this guy was the cousin of the guy who arrested this witness at the airport, at the military base the morning of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And look at what he says here. So check this out.
Want people to wrongly extrapolate things and say, okay, well, maybe she was on the base. Maybe there's a chance she wasn't on the base, right? Then that she has a doppelganger. People do have doppelgangers. I have doppelgangers, right? Well, let's say she was on the base. Let's say you're right. And you saw her. This is the night before. This is on the 8th. Maybe she was in the hotel, but maybe she was there for a different reason. Maybe she was there because she's always been open about the fact that her mother moved to Arizona because she got involved with the military. So that could be totally unrelated to the meeting that took place on the 9th. And I didn't want to, But then I said to myself, this man has lived through so much. You know what I mean? This man has lived through so much. And I would be turning my back on this, really a hero, discovering the cartels, who's lived through so much and has been treated like the government. And then I struggled with my own backlash, conflict. Okay. I genuinely believe this is God's platform. I really don't. My prayer was very intentional that night that I received that email. So
okay, I'm sorry.
Happened.
Okay.
I confirmed the location with other people that are on Fort Huachuca currently. I can confirm everything with metadata. I obviously can't confirm that you saw who you say you saw. If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put that?
95.
95%. Okay.
95 to 99. I mean, when I saw him, you know, on the interview with his face and gestures, with that photo, it struck me in my gut. I blew it off until there was, you know, some other pictures that came up with other people.
What other people? Other pictures?
If you want me to say, there's a picture of Erika Kirk with a ponytail, and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before, and she was with that man in the lobby, and that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erika Kirk, what percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes. That's 95, 99%. I can't imagine somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's all. That's all I wanted to say for now. Yeah. So listen, you know, if you're having any problems at all, you got to look at that person next to you. Right here, this is just awful. Hey, let me look at both sides. Maybe this gentleman is lying. If this gentleman is lying, well, he was there. He did get arrested. All the facts are true. He's just lying on Erika, but all the facts are true. But if he's saying the truth, then that means that our military was involved in a public execution, and political figures are involved. This is huge. I mean, so stay tuned. Stay tuned for my next show, Narcissism is a Network. Let me see if I can get some questions here. Hey guys, how's it going? How do we know that Erika Kirk is a narcissist, though? Could she simply be grieving in a unique, different way? Well, she seems to be playing the entire role of Dracula very well, and I don't think she even saw the movie. But she doing everything he did, right? And Dracula was written by a collection of people in the 1800s, not one person. Dracula was a collection of experiences where people were dealing with these narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths. And so she could be a grieving wife. I'm sure she is, right? It's interesting. 5D warfare. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you later. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And next up, I'm doing an entire series on this. And so next up is, let me see here. My next podcast is Narcissism is a Network. Erika Kirk. You know, Erika Kirk wives and the return of public executions. So this is the feminist final. This is a feminist final solution in front of the kids. So if I'm seeing this right, I'm seeing Narcissism is a Network, And this is a public, wives are now doing public executions of their husbands. You know, wives, hold on a second. If this is true, if Erika Kirk really did this, then this is a case of a wife doing a public execution and trying to make it pass off for something else. And so I think that we also have to look into her background to see if she was basically a feminist, or if she was along, if she had any type of very rigid radical feministic ideas and stuff like that, because I have no idea how you can make something like, if she did something like this, I don't know how you can make something like this make any sense to me. So stay tuned, folks. Next, wives and the return of public executions. Narcissism Network. Take care, guys. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Take care, guys.